Poetry Out Loud is a contest that encourages the nation's youth to learn about great poetry. Before the preparations began for the 2014 North Dakota State Competition, 3 teachers from Bismarck High School talked about why they chose to include Poetry Out Loud as part of their courses and the benefits of memorizing and reciting poetry.
All right, here's a little bit about it. You have a very cool opportunity to compete in a Poetry Out Loud competition at BHS.
I think it's one of the most worthwhile programs available to students. It's accessible to every single student. It's available to teachers to implement in the classroom. You could do it as a school. There's so many avenues and possibilities with this program that make it worthwhile.
Oh, chimes sit high on the sunny tower. Ring on unendingly.
When I was in the 5th grade, my teacher, Sister Rita, made us all memorize a poem, and that poem has stuck with me ever since I was in the 5th grade. And I just always believe that it's important for someone, for everyone, to have a poem that they know. One poem, one piece that they can recite. And most of the students do pick poems that mean something personal to them, and that kind of helps that stay with them even longer.
I breathed a song into the air. It fell to earth, and I knew not where.
A lot of students today, we always have devices around, like an iPhone or a tablet, even a computer, that they basically memorize things for us. And when you memorize things or recite items, you use 3 main parts of your brain. You use the frontal lobe, which helps with organizing the thoughts. You use the temporal lobe, which helps with language and coding your message. And then you use the cerebellum, which is the rhythm and the flow of the piece. And so they're using critical thinking skills all simultaneously, and they don't even know it. And it's a good habit to do, and it's fun as well, using poetry to use as a tool.
You get 5 times in your life when it would help you to know a poem. And you can be funny, you can be serious, okay?
I also think it adds a lot of engagement with the text that you may not get if you just read or analyze a piece. They find a piece that is meaningful to them, that they have a connection to, and so they interact with that on a personal level rather than just on a surface level.
Look at the first line. Where's the consonants in the first line?
He just keeps saying sorry and stuff.
So I start off the unit by telling kids they have a chance to win $20,000. Now it's a pretty big carrot, and you got to jump through quite a few hoops to get there. But I hear several students saying, I'm really going to take this seriously, or I'm really going to try really hard at this. And showing them the national winners on video and their poem recitation of 2.5 minutes, and that's what you have to do, it makes it seem like it's achievable to them. So I think using that carrot is a pretty easy way to get them going.
I looked at it as a unique opportunity for the students as well. So many are involved with athletics and fine arts competition, and this was a way to implement a competition in the classroom, and they can benefit from it outside of the classroom as well. And so it just opened up the door to a lot of unique opportunities for them, and pushing them and challenging them also in a way that they may not do on their own.
Anybody can do it. Anybody can participate. It's not as hard as you think. I memorized a couple of poems just to prove to the students that it's possible. Even teachers can do it on a short notice, and I might not do it as well as the national champion, but it is possible.
When I behold upon the night's starred face, huge cloudy symbols of a high romance.
We do spend a lot of time on teaching them tips on how to memorize a piece, how to portray yourself in front of a crowd, stage presence, and once they realize that they've successfully done it once, and now in a competition atmosphere as well, I think they'll carry that success with them and use it their whole life.
Now, when we do our poems, it's not about movement and gestures. It's all about the voice. When we look at poetry, we look at, the structure, the rhyme, the meter, the symbolism, and very analytical. And I feel like when we do that, students can have sort of a stagnant approach. And so I think doing something like Poetry Out Loud, where they're asked to stand up and recite and give that meaning, not through a written description, but through their vocal interpretation, I think that makes poetry come alive a little bit more for them.
You need to look at pop culture. We kind of talked a little bit about yesterday what pop culture is. Think of any TV shows or movies, or books for that matter, where a character recites a poem.
I've dragged my feet for a few years now. I thought, oh, this would be a good idea to do. I'm just too busy. My advice is just do it. It's a lot of fun. It's very easy to implement into the classroom. There's a lot of great online resources. There's lesson plans that the Poetry Foundation has set up for you that you could use. And you can also tweak those lesson plans to fit your classroom as well.
Welcome to the 2014 North Dakota Poetry Out Loud semifinals competition.
Poetry chronicles our lives, and poems capture the essence of who we are as people.
White are my hands as the snowdrop.
Life is too strong for you.
Hope is the thing with feathers.
And that tradition, whether it's written or oral, needs to be passed on.
Prairie Mosaic is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, the North Dakota Council on the Arts, and by the members of Prairie Public.